As far as we can discern, the sole purpose of human existence is to kindle a light of meaning in the darkness of mere being. These words from Carl Jung echo in the quiet spaces of our hearts, especially when we measure ourselves against the giants Jung, Freud, Da Vinci, Einstein, Shakespeare, Mandela, whose lives seem to blaze with an almost unreachable significance. We look at their legacies and wonder if anything we do could ever matter as much, if our own existence could ever cast a light bright enough to pierce the darkness. But Jung's wisdom cuts through this self-doubt. The purpose of your life is not measured by achievement or fame. It is not a prize won or a record kept. It is found in the fabric of who you are, in the choices you make, in the quiet courage to be authentic. Jung saw the human psyche as a vast landscape, conscious and unconscious, ego and shadow, light and dark. At the center of our awareness sits the ego, but beyond it stretches a wilderness of hidden desires, fears and truths, the shadow. Jung believed that in the depths of our unconscious, in the shadow we so often deny, lies the key to our unique purpose. Meaning is not some universal script handed down from above. It is something we must discover for ourselves, in the raw, unfiltered truth of our own being. Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist who founded analytical psychology, poured these insights into his books: The Psychology of the Unconscious, Man and His Symbols, The Archetypes and the Collective Unconscious, and others, each one a lantern for those lost in the dark. To begin this journey, Jung urges us to get to know our darkness. Your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. The path to purpose starts with self-knowledge. Many of us believe we know ourselves, our strengths, our flaws, our desires. But true self-understanding demands more. It requires self-realization, the willingness to peer into the hidden corners of our soul. Each of us is a tapestry of the conscious and the unconscious. The shadow is the secret chamber where we lock away the parts of ourselves we're ashamed of: envy, anger, laziness, forgotten passions, and forbidden dreams. These traits, buried for so long, slip beneath our awareness. Instead, we cling to our persona, the mask we wear to be loved, to be accepted, to belong. We become actors in our own lives, switching masks for every stage. To truly meet your shadow, you must step back and reflect. Shadow work is not a single revelation, but a daily practice, a ritual of honesty. Through journaling, meditation, or simple self-questioning, you ask, why did I do that? Was it real? What was my first instinct? How would I feel if the roles were reversed? You interrogate yourself as you would a stranger, searching for the truth beneath the story. But Jung warns, knowing your shadow does not mean becoming it. You are not your anger, your jealousy, your shame. You are the one who sees them, who acknowledges their presence. Accept them as part of your whole, not as your identity. Often the shadow slips out in our judgments of others. The qualities we despise in those around us are often the ones we fear in ourselves. This is projection. When you bristle at someone's selfishness or impatience, pause and ask, is this a mirror? Could this be my own shadow calling out to be seen? Each day, take time to sit with these questions. Bring the unconscious into the light. The more you practice, the more you discover. Shadow work is not a destination but a lifelong journey, a habit that brings you closer to a life of meaning. Jung once said, I don't aspire to be a good man, I aspire to be a whole man. After facing your darkness, you may feel raw, even broken. The pain of self-realization is real. Many try to banish their flaws, believing that repression is the path to goodness. But ignored, these shadows only grow stronger. They fester in silence, waiting for a moment of weakness to erupt, anger in an outburst, laziness in a collapse. Denial is not healing, it is a slow poison. But now, with eyes open, you can do something different. You can make use of your darkness. Anger, for example, is not evil in itself. When it is justified, it can become the fire that helps you stand up for yourself, to draw boundaries, to demand respect. The shadow, once feared, becomes a source of strength, a guide toward wholeness and meaning. The question, always quietly pulsing beneath the surface, is this: When do you listen to your emotions? And when do you let them pass like clouds across your mind? When do you wear the mask the world expects? And when do you let it slip, showing your true face? To live well is not to divide your feelings into neat boxes labeled good and bad, but to see each emotion as a messenger, sometimes a warning, sometimes a gift. Envy, for example, can sting, but it can also point you toward what you long for, sparking the drive to reach higher. Laziness, so often despised, can be the body's plea for rest, a reminder that you are not a machine. Even impatience, if you listen closely, can push you into action when you've waited too long in stillness. The key is context, knowing when to harness these energies and when to let them go. This is the work of integrating your shadow, the parts of yourself you once tried to hide. The shadow is not your enemy. It is your teacher, holding lessons you can only learn by facing what you fear or dislike in yourself. Only by accepting and embracing these darker qualities can you begin to grow, to move toward wholeness. Self-knowledge, honest, unflinching, gives you the power to use every part of yourself, not just the parts you show to the world. When your shadow is no longer exiled but welcomed home, you become more yourself, balanced, authentic, at peace. Suddenly, what you want and need from life becomes clearer because you are no longer fighting yourself. Self-improvement is not a single victory, but a lifelong journey, an endless unfolding. Each time you choose to grow, you add another thread of meaning to the tapestry of your life. But meaning is not found in thought alone. Jung reminds us, you are what you do, not what you say you'll do. Knowing who you are, understanding your darkness and your light, means little if you keep it locked inside. Purpose is forged in action, not in dreams. Do not wait for life to happen to you. Step forward and shape it with your own hands. Most of us live reactively, responding to what the world throws at us, even after we begin the work of self-discovery. But the danger of settling into reflection without action is stagnation, a slow drift into meaninglessness. The antidote is challenge, pushing yourself beyond comfort, asking hard questions. What do I truly believe? What values guide me? How do I want to shape the world around me? Write your answers in a journal, meditate on them, let them guide your choices. If your dream is to write a book, do not wait for inspiration. Write, even when it's hard. Seek help when you're stuck. Finish, not just when you're motivated, but because you are disciplined. If your purpose is less concrete, perhaps to nurture the next generation, find your own way to give, whether as a parent, teacher, counselor, or advocate. Meaning is not passive, it is built day by day through what you choose to do. And when fear rises, as it always will, remember Jung's words. Where your fear is, there is your task. Fear is not weakness, it is a compass, pointing to where you need to grow. Action always carries risk, of failure, of rejection, of disappointment. But bravery is not the absence of fear, it is the willingness to act in spite of it. Name your fears. Prepare for what is likely, but do not let your mind spiral into endless what-ifs. Preparation tames fear, but rumination feeds it. In the end, meaning is not something you find by waiting, or by hiding from your shadow, or by letting fear dictate your choices. Fear is a shadow that never truly leaves us. It lingers at the edge of every bold step, every leap into the unknown. When you have done all you can to quiet its voice, there comes a moment when you must simply dive in, heart pounding, breath held, into the deep. Bravery isn't the absence of fear, it's the willingness to face it, to meet it eye to eye and keep moving forward. No one who has ever shaped the world, or even their own small corner of it, has done so by running from what frightened them. As Jung reminds us, the place where your fear lives is the very place your next task awaits. When you name your fear, you name the doorway to meaning. But even as you learn and grow, even as you take risks and strive to become more, life will never be perfect. Perfection is a myth, a mirage on the horizon. The most influential, the most courageous, are not those who have lived without hardship, but those who have faced it and kept going. They are the ones who take risks, refuse to be defined by setbacks, and rise again and again. To find meaning, You must accept the bad as well as the good. Meaning is not born from a life of uninterrupted joy, but from the interplay of light and darkness. Happiness would lose its flavor without the contrast of sadness. Victory would mean nothing if defeat were not possible. There can be no dawn without night. So when hardship comes, reframe it. Do not let despair take root. Instead, remember, every joy that follows will be sweeter for the struggle that came before. Mistakes and misfortune are not just obstacles, they are teachers. Each time you stumble, you learn something new about yourself. Every disappointment is a chance to see your shadow more clearly, to understand what you need to change, or what strength you possess that you never knew was there. No one learns to be pragmatic without first failing to be. No one discovers their resilience until life demands it. Imagine you send your novel to every publisher and receive nothing but rejection. Or you leave a safe job to chase a dream, only to fall short. Yes, you gain perspective, and yes, you learn. But does this make your life meaningful? Jung would say, meaning is not in the achievement itself, but in the journey, the actions you took, the courage you showed, the person you became along the way. Even if you never reach the summit, you know you are someone who climbs. That in itself is meaning. Adding meaning to your life is not a task you ever finish. It is a process, a constant rediscovery of who you are, what you want, and what you're willing to risk. You will always encounter both joy and disappointment. This unique mixture, this blend of triumph and trial, is what makes your life yours. Be proud of every attempt, every risk, every moment you chose to try. That is where purpose is born. And in the end, look around at what you have. Celebrate every small victory. Be grateful for every bit of goodness. No matter what unfolds, know that your life has purpose as long as you are striving to be the truest version of yourself.